Everyone needs food. His smile carried some sinister parts. Your hands are tight. Don't forget that their food is in our hands. Give her food once every 2 days. You can pull. They can't have enough food in their hands. The servant replied yes. At night at the port, a lot of ships dock. The god of the spear was waiting. Princess Adventure goes to. Just arrived, he said. Your Majesty, your people are now ashore. You should give us someone. We said, even though we were on the beach. But not our food. Why don't we see anything? The god replied. Why not? This boat is the food we prepare. The captain on one side looked at the ship. The man of the spear is playing us. We have so many people. Just in a food boat. The guy rushed to shit. This must be us. Food preparation also takes time. More. We have a face that doesn't want people to go hungry. Give food 2 days ago to everyone. If your Majesty is not pleased, so we give food. We have to wait for all our food to arrive. I'll send you later. When he finished, he turned and left. The princess said, wait a minute. If so, I'll bother you later. He was willing to kick, as if his Majesty understood. What kind of anger did you say the other day? The princess stopped talking. The horse is waiting for us to fix it. Nature will have to go. The guy just left a few words. So I'm back with the good news. Like that, the next food will probably arrive a little earlier. Not accepting anger, gripping power, grinding teeth. These people. The princess next door was calm. Don't pay attention to them. They haven't been paying attention for very long, other than how it went. The Red Cross reported the situation. Orders communicated through the Dark Yarrow network. It's all going according to the plan you told me to follow. Now, all of the base's scattered ships are up to dry. Complete intrusion. Maybe we'll refocus in a few weeks. Princess Satisfied responds well. Just wait for him. My reign will be back soon. All the soldiers are ashore. The next morning in the ocean. A new fleet to sail. After all, it is more and more blocked. There is a sound in the port. Welcome to Hai Duong City. This port is the boat. To bring traders and goods back to the checkpoint. On the boat, people are inviting each other for breakfast. The mushroom head said, fit for so many days. I can finally get a normal passport. You white shirt smiling big. Haha, I can finally go home. This time, we will make a lot of money. But just finished, something caught my attention. Pointing to one side, the boat was coming in front of him. It's not Togo's money. It's SAO. Then look at the next fleet, there's La Sun. It was a few days before the harbor that they were fighting. The mushroom head replied, Thing came. This dynasty is not a normal bustle. Suddenly, there was a loud call, 2 times looking over here. This name startled money fans. In the ancient port of Lam, the fleet of the great Prince Tozola Deer flag has just landed. The 2 turned to say, it has arrived at the port of exile, and we will correct it. At the glad Prince Ra has finally arrived. Wait until we're done editing. We'll teach the bastard Kier properly. The 2 princes happily agreed. Not having time to register in the city has a reputation. All members prepare for first-level combat. Cannon pointed at the Tarala's ship. The great prince and the 2 princes were stunned. You've got to get rid of the scammer. This is a trap. I hate to be such a stranger. The majestic Niu stepped forward. All the soldiers in the last two lines salute. The owner comes. I just saw the owner. The prince is no longer as big as the lord. What do you mean? I have signed a contract with your majesty the king. Like the ocean that exists, great prince dear flag. Don't get excited. I'm just working according to protocol. Waiting for the prince to panic the regime rules. The smiling fisherman replied yes. To ensure a safe environment in the water. So don't let people bring weapons into the country. The two princes also spoke angrily. No weapons allowed. So it's safe we have to do SAO. Make sure if someone is not working. No one affects your safety. According to military regulations, they cannot enter the city. You can only camp outside. Of course, your highnesses can enter the old forest. This made the two princes very angry. What is it? Where are so many of us? As a reassuring reply. We've prepared Leo for everyone. It's now going to everyone. The Black Queen replied. If we don't coordinate, SAO. His voice became serious. Please come back where you came from. The great prince gritted his teeth, and you forced me. But still have to give up. Get in the boat and leave your weapons. The prince left. I remember the debt in America's mind today. And say, let's go into the city. In the ancient forest city, the two of us are looking everywhere. On this side, he reigns. Even if it is not the royal capital, it is so beautiful. The ground is also very clean. I don't feel any interest in talking about the king. It's just clean. What's the point? But then his nostrils swelled and he sniffed, and he smelled so good. The two princes are excited, pointing to a crowd of people in line saying, You look at too many people. Read the name written on the sign, the great prince said. Long-time drug branch in Lam Ancient, what strange name. Two tiger heroes walk into the restaurant. I just said I have to go. The first meal on the boat is going to be hungry. In front of a table full of delicious food, the prince excitedly said, You've got to see a lot of good food. The great prince just met the chicken thigh and said, Han, this dynasty, it takes a lot of thought for these things. Just chewed and swallowed. The prince was surprised. It tastes so good. The table next door saw the two of them eating. He devoured it. Haha, this scene again. Outsiders can't have anything new, SAO. Really is. They finished eating and drinking. The clerk brought up the bill. Hello total in DT200. The two of them filled the room. What's bad? The employee replied. Of course, it's a check issued by the bank. The guests are probably not. She said to provoke the great prince, and he gritted his teeth. What do you mean? The prince stood up and beat the officer. The two princes stopped. I can't cause trouble now. Let me. Then he walked up to him, the clerk said. This brother, we just came from outside. I don't know the situation here. See if you can exchange this for an accountant. In addition, where is the money? Please tell us. The staff is happy to answer. After the settlement, the two princes ran after the great prince. I've made it clear. The prince just left and said he had to go. Let's go for a walk in the Han dynasty. It was winter at night, so the snow began to fall. The people of the two princes, sitting warming by the fire. Two princes have returned from the city, just walking and talking. Brother, don't say that. The Han dynasty stuff is great. The two princes also spoke. I still remember the smell of lunch. Are you going tomorrow? The prince heard that. Let's take a look at some of your money. As you go, you can also go. The two princes have arrived. Crushed recipe, welcome. Or be subdued. The two princes asked the duke. It's hard to deal with your name. The duke talked small. Or be subdued must be so. Our merchant team. We can't go ashore yet. He asked if he could help with the hook. Let his people. The king agreed. Can we get our merchant boat ashore? The prince heard it and froze for an hour. If you want to go ashore, think of a way not to bother me. Rejected, the duke called his Royal Highness Theo. The prince left coldly. The seventh duke sighed for an hour. Night on the ancient forest. The merchant fleet has not yet docked. Limit recipe to find traders. A merchant opened the door and said, Master Bashu is okay. The duke replied sadly, Your Majesty will not help. Then the merchants and the duke sat at the table. Kai Bai, we directly negotiate with the Han dynasty. Another said it was difficult. I heard that at first you came ashore. Delivered 20,000 gold coins with La Sun water. It can be docked. The rest also said, Just rely on us. I'm afraid I can't fill the stomach of the Han dynasty. The duke is still upset, thinking nothing. Then you speak up. That's what we do. People should be on the boat starving. A girl went to console the duke. You are the Duke of the Empire. Again is the president of our National Chamber of Commerce. See if there is another way. The duke replied, Let me think. Suddenly, there was a loud voice. The head of the La Sun Imperial Chamber of Commerce came. Behind her is a beautiful pink-haired girl. No surprise, Miss Rose. Because the lady replied in a soft voice, I haven't seen the Lord in a long time. I've come to cooperate with the Duke. This morning, I'm from the Phantom Merchant. To know the intelligence, the port will be open to traders. There is a need to report the amount of goods you want to buy. Of course, there is no need to worry about the goods. He said, Tell us. Items worth buying. It is only based on the Sun Association. I'm afraid it doesn't meet their standards. You know the price of going to the beach, of our two militaries. The Duke replied happily after listening, So the lady wants us to make money together. Then we go ashore. That's great. I actually have this intention. The bearded lady happily agreed. Tomorrow we will go to the Sea of Matches. Blue sky, white clouds, the sun is a little folding. And school city government space, it's easy to relax. You are back. I hope you are forever. Your Majesty is at the same time. Mina returned to the gate of Chang'an. Ellie has spread her joy. Te Ra runs towards the wind. You must have missed it a lot. And the nun on one side was smiling. My soul is excited to welcome Mina back. It's a very playful, exhilarating atmosphere. Ellie hugged the wind freely. Tears are pouring out. Ellie the Crane Princess told the exile. The time you weren't here. I have worked hard to lead everything. It is hard to figure out how much work. Why the best? I'm tired of being sick. Just said. Ellie just clung to Liu Feng's neck and cried. I saw that and hugged Ellie. A loving but comforting voice. It's hard for Ellie. Stop crying. I know how talented you are. I'll see what happens in a moment. Ellie said she was too tired to be sick, right? Let me remind you why you still feel so heavy. I picked up Ellie to make her happy. Ellie replied softly. No, Hoo-Hoo is obviously sicker. Hi, I can't wait for your reply. Ellie is sick and thin. It's too bad. I can't take it. Mina also spoke up when she saw this scene. Master Ellie is about to cry. Young master, don't tease Ellie anymore. Jenny stood on one side and witnessed this. Your face is kind of here. Everybody's comfortable. That's interesting. When people stop you. Liu Feng stopped teasing Ellie. Ellie, the princess, is no longer unruly. Come here. Ellie's only looking at Jenny now. Standing in a corner. I wonder who this girl is. How to ask Ellie's style. That startled Jenny a little bit. Jenny responded with a touch of trepidation. Hello, my name is Jenny. I'm from the Lassen Empire. Your Highness, Chen, continued Elia. Jeniko. It's helped us a lot in the city. Ellie also did not pay attention to Liu Feng's words. She stared at Jenny's blooming breasts. Full of jealousy. Ellie's eyes glared at Jenny. That look that's around Jenny's head. Billion question marks dot. Jenny stood there. I don't know where the strange creature in front of me is. I don't know if it's weird. I kept looking at Jenny's first ring and Ellie was blinking. You're angry. Turn your face around. Then throw back a verse. Don't worry, Jenny. If you help us, you are our guest. You don't have to be so nervous. God, that's Ellie's voice. Who's out of stress? But Jenny was kind enough to say yes. Thank you for turning away. The waist hurts like a cut. Holding hands tightly but thinking furiously. I hate to lose another one. Ellie, what are you doing? He only knows shame. While Ellie was still in her prime. With my own first round, Liu Feng played Jenny. I told Nicola. Nicola, you can arrange a break room for Jenny first. Jenny seems tired. Yes, young master, she replied politely. At the meeting room of Trong and city government, she was seriously sitting with Ellie to talk about a match. You say, now the battle, the sea of matches is over. Next, the focus of our goal will move to the sale of goods abroad. In this way, the economy can flourish. Ellie, I want to put the people on this list. In addition to choosing crew, we have to send the merchant ships directly to the Tazilla Empire. The empire is slowly. Ellie nodded, I understand. She holds in her hand the list that your majesty gave her. Suddenly, you have a question. But the missing. If you go to sea, we can't escape the stormy sea. She said as she recalled the scene of a catastrophic storm. About a time ago, did you get the newspaper in the sea match? It's the fleet of the Tazilla Empire and the Lassen Empire. It's all very damaging in that stormy sea. Our boat fleet is much better compared to the outside, but we see there's a lot of danger. Just smile after listening. Softly replied Ellie. Don't worry about dealing with things like this. We already have experts. I'm having a bad conversation with Ellie. There was Nicola's loud voice outside the door. Your Majesty, Beatty's coming. And she said, let her in. bigger with blue hair curling the sea. She salutes the wind. Good morning, Your Majesty. Stand up right now. You come in front of the little guy. Seriously talking to you. Long time no see, Beaties. I'm not interviewing anymore. We're going to the sea. Trade. At the same time, we need to collect 10 pieces of intelligence from the Farber Empire, the enemy of everyone. As you all know, the stormy sea is dangerous, so I'd like to ask the mermaid to be generous. He finished listening to Lu Feng's request. It's fun to accept. Don't worry, you're the benefactor of our mermaids. A little something like this, we will definitely help you. Say Feng jubilant, he gave Marble's shock documents. Is the entire contract. You say. That's good. This is the rule that I made. Salary and things to pay attention to. I keep it clear inside. I like to receive the brochure with pleasure. Thank you for saving the wind. You're so polite. Ha ha ha, Beatties, this sentence I'm familiar with. Beatties also innocently replied. In fact, my father once told me. For the Han dynasty, we do not expect revenge on Lao. The more the lake is dealing with the checkered phase. But the wind is still very awake and handsome. I respond to the words of Biddy. Even though SAO is still dangerous, it must be paid. You can't break the rules. Yes, Your Majesty. Then, Bitch hugged the charter file and waved goodbye. To be with none. Then leave. I see the feeling, the faith that the mermaids have in him. The royal family cannot help but be grateful. I thought to myself, see Rahan, this dynasty, in the eyes of the mermaids, has reached a very high level of acceptance. Say maybe. Thinking about the department, Liu Feng's lines of reflection were stopped by Ellie. Ellie, after seeing the documents. You've discovered something. Miss Fuang called out loud. Your Majesty, I have another problem. You said you just opened the document. Take a close look and report back. I see it written in this document. Lasan and Tozaline empires. The kingdom of the spirits and the beast. You keep looking at the wind and talk about your own problems. I see they're not like us. And recent countries sign the race pact. Our merchant fleet is thousands of miles away. Big variable to trade. Is there too much insurance? The police seem to have anticipated this. He answered Ellie with calmness. You know this. So I'm going to choose. Animals and spirits follow these two boats. Ellie asked again, does anyone want to choose? Say Feng just gently feedback. Of course, we do. Mina was curious to ask who it was. The wind did not respond. Only eyes full of faith and bright. Out the door. The same answer must be, that person is coming soon. At that moment, the voice of Isina echoed outside the hallway. Princess. I heard the Isina sound. He quickly opened the door and asked. What's going on? Isina didn't answer. She clung to Jenny's arms. A surprised, shocked face asked Jenny. Your Highness, why are you here? This is Princess Jenny. She smiled softly and replied to Isina. Is that Egina? Let me go first. You're affecting people. Yes, Egina bowed her head in return. Mina. Save Feng. Ellie stood in the back row, looking at the two of them. But all three of them were wide-eyed in surprise. Ellie twisted her mouth and spoke. You are also a princess. Mina stood next to the wind. Her face was long, and she seemed a little jealous. She said, the princess next door. Your Majesty is getting more and more ugly. People don't seem happy when I hide my identity. Jenny the princess spoke with great concern. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hide it from you. In fact, am I a princess or not? It's nothing. Even though my father hates me. While Jenny was explaining, I was worried about everyone except her. Ellie interrupted me. All right. We're not going to chain you up because you're a princess. You don't have to worry too much. Let's just say everyone here is a princess. You're welcome, Jenny. Izina, still contemplating, Long looked anxiously and thoughtfully at Jenny. The wind also seems to have discovered this. I watched Igina's expression. But I also seem to want to say something in my heart. And then he's sitting alone with Izina at the classroom table. I told Igina very seriously. In short, the situation is like this. If you have a more detailed plan, I will play for you later. Izina full brimming feedback. I understand, Your Majesty. Don't worry. I'll help you deal with the 01 company. The most perfect way. Finished talking about the spirit company. Just remember what happened before. I asked Izina again. That's right, Igina. At SAO, you know the princess of the mountain empire. So, but why come to this 6? Izina just raised the cup and softly replied. Save Feng. Haha, Your Majesty. You're secretly probing people like that. It would make me think a lot. Moreover, Igina's eyes suddenly became sharper. You go on, it's an old story. It doesn't matter anymore. The important thing is now, I'm the captain of the Han Dynasty's bow. Not why, Your Majesty. The short face laughed furiously. He was afraid to answer. Yeah, you're right. That's what my mouth says in my heart. Look, I don't want to talk. If you don't talk, don't force her. Then Don told Igina Tay. Put a gift box in front of the table. You're right. This time you go away. So I'm going to give you a gift. I hope you like it, Igina. Igina Tay received the gift box and was excited to say, oh. Lotus skin has finally turned to spirit, like me Sao. The Kier head was soon red-eyed with new equipment of other parts. Come on, leave it to Igina. Open it. I assure you this gift will please you. Izina lifted the gift box to her expectant face. Just opened the gift. She opened her eyes wide in surprise. What is this? At that time calmly explained, wholeheartedly. This is a new weapon, design of the Research and Development Department. I call it a standard rifle. You can call it a sniper rifle. Black sniper rifle. It's intricately built. Modern standout in gift box. Seems to have knocked out Igina's interest. In the library room, the wind is drowning in thoughts. Considerations for upcoming plans. Look at the documents on hand. Save the monologue of the Lawson Empire. Solve it all. Then like Toro La's people, we should choose AI. If it's a game, Izina is like a warrior with 6 full angles. So let her alone lead the trade to Lawson. There's absolutely no problem. If everyone else is inappropriate, I have too many animals with me. There's a powerless skill point, right? Ellie can't come to the dollar, either. And I can't let her go there. Vaya is not available now. Her side of the equation is at a critical moment. Tired of sighing, he fell out on the chair. What to do? From the door, Ellie happily rushed to the young master. Ellie laughed and said, "The #1 stone in the river has passed smoothly." Glad to stand up. So SAO is finally done. Ellie continued, "The people are happy. Previously, pontoons could still be used, but even though SAO has a limited entrance, now the bridge has been built much more smoothly. Happy to continue. More and more of our cars are coming. The pontoons are just temporary, they can't be used forever. Waiting for the survey work later. Complete set of works. We'll let the people in the design department make more plans. The bridge is ready when needed." Ellie understood and said yes. Looking at the documents on the table, Ellie asked, "I'm having a headache choosing who to come to Toro as SAO." "That's right. Once the merchants leave our Han dynasty, we'll temporarily become an independent population. The head of the exchange, you must have the wisdom to lead people. At the same time, there must be a certain organizational capacity. Make sure the team has a plan. Make sure the team completes its mission. People like that are not easy to find." LG looks at the information about people on hand. Watch for a moment and answer. "You have someone." "Uncle Feng, tell me." Ella gives CV of a white-haired animal, says, "Chile young family. Actually, the last half of the Stone Bridge category is held by CJ. It's up to you and Wick to help. But there's no denying it. In a lot of places, she's done extremely well. So Kai assigned this mission to her. Convenient to watch as a workout. Look at the information on the handwriting. If you were Siley, you would. Considered, but she's still a little immature now. But if you've recommended, if there's no one else, choose her. Save Feng view information. Personality thinking is a little weak. There are still some shortcomings with the people of the association. Siley is sitting in her office. Solve the right papers high as a mountain." At this point, a girl in a purple dress with brown hair came up and said, "Siley Stone Bridge etiquette today arranged very well. This time is hard." And he stood up and said, "No. It's not hard because people help me." The girl said with a smile, "Okay, don't be so nervous. Everyone is a colleague." Siley was afraid to say yes. Then look at the calendar marked in box 10. The girl is right. "What's the date you marked on your calendar?" Sile replied with a very happy face. "This is supposed to be the day my family goes to school. A girl really congratulates you." At the same time in the sea, the fisherman is receiving the traders. Everyone's intentions are clear. The bearded lady said, "Please ask the owner. Can we go ashore?" The Duke of Lan followed up. "This is very important to us. Now we are." As the owner, he answered with confidence, "No need to stress. With guests who come to do business in peace, we are very welcome." In the head, I am reminded of my conversation with the Lord. "His Majesty Liu Feng," said the great fisherman, "after I left, if a merchant wants to go ashore, may allow but definitely register properly." I was a little surprised, but I said yes. "But here, keep talking, I know your worries. But we can't stay that way. My plan is to renovate the private sea into become a model port of foreign affairs." He said, "Yes, I understand." Niu Dai's answer. Make the bearded lady and the tattered Duke of Lan happy. It's so good. But not long enough to rejoice. The two of them were dragged back to reality. You must obey the laws of the Han dynasty. Do not bring weapons into the city. Everyone's weapons must be withheld. Pay after leaving. Out. If we find out about you, except for Ra's business. If you do something you shouldn't do, you're on time. The prince immediately spoke up to ensure that Niu became the owner of peace of mind. We're not that kind of people. The owner invited 2 people to register. Here's the regulatory process. After the inspection, everyone is free to go ashore. Have fun. Thank you for being the owner. In the Imperial Port City, people are following each other. Into the inner city. Princess from above. Follow that group of people. The soldier came to tell His Majesty. Most people do it at our request. Disguised as a farmer. A small part is on the way. Maybe 2 days later, we'll all be together. That's what another soldier said, Your Majesty. The man of the spear came. The princess turned her head. These people really can't wait. Not accepted. How's the map of the city I asked you to draw? The deputy's report is already on its way. I predict this afternoon will come. Princess satisfied had to be very good. Press command transmission. The army chose Ra before leaving with the man of the cardinal god. Listen to their arrangements first. When the time is right, join me in attacking the gods. The servant obeyed the order and said yes. He did not dare to ask His Majesty. The princess turned to look at the stone. Continue to talk. The fleet of the empire. Sun and T-Zona came to the Han dynasty. The princess is surprised. At the train station in Chong'an, Siley hurried down the carriage and told the coachman. The captain kept the extra money. Your face panicked and ran away. In my head, I woke up an hour early. The result is still traffic. I don't guess them. They absolutely don't run around. She ran as hard as she could to the train station's waiting room door. Have to call out. The old cleaner who was sweeping turned and looked at her. Mrs. Ian came to pick you up, right? You're all gone. I heard her scream in surprise. What then? Asked in a hasty voice. So, have you seen the 3 children of the horse race? They're in my car. I came to pick them up, but in the traffic jam the first time they went to the school, I'm afraid of them. Before I could finish, an arm came calling out to me. And you come back and you're your 3 brothers. The oldest said Siley hadn't seen her in a long time. The 2 children are happy to tell you. On the streets of Chong'an, she's taking 3 kids back to her place. The 2 children looked excitedly at the street, glad to roar through so many people, so big city. You see, my sister laughed. Hey, don't run around, especially on the road where it's dangerous. The 2 children stopped. I turned to Siley. It's a naughty kid. I'm not tired all the way. Siley laughed and replied, Is Lin having a hard time? Lin replied excitedly, No, I'm excited. I can't believe you guys. The outside has changed so much in the last few years. Yes, can I buy the newspaper in advance? I also want to go to the money. Siley was surprised to ask, How do you know about newspapers and money? Lin had to. I received a newspaper before. Others throw it on the ground, but that seems like an old newspaper. Thanks to the blessing of that, I know the concept of this city. But I still want to see the news. Siley happy, agree haha be. In my head thinking, the name is not the afterlife of love. The ability to absorb much stronger than myself. At Siley's house, you've just brought 3 of them home. Open the door and say, this is their home. I look.